All right. Hello, everybody. Once again, you are watching GPU, the show. We are Game Players United, and I am your host, Matthew Gilliam. I am here in the building. Well, actually, I'm not in the building with him, but I'm in a building. He's in a building. I'm with Zach Winn. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Just in the quarantine, watching Star Wars, watching Star
Right?
Trek, just, doing binge stuff. And yourself?
Uh, Pretty much the same. Yeah, actually, that you nailed it on the head. Star Wars.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a whole nother conversation about how Star Wars is going and the direction it's going. But Zach, can you tell us what inspired you to develop games? Was this something that learning about the Capital Creative Showcase spurred that on, or did you have that already going on? What's your history with that?
I had it already going on. It was one of those things that was in the back of my mind. And I don't think I realized how many people were out there fulfilling that dream until I went to that first event, that indie arcade. And so then that definitely, lit the torch a little bit, getting to see everybody's works and, how far they've come and how, professional the entire event was. So once I went there and then even actually after that first lecture I went to, kind of getting inspired there and seeing how many people just in Sacramento were involved with this and how supportive they were, it pushed me in the right direction. So once I kind of saw what everybody else was doing and saying like, oh, you can follow your dream if you'd like to. And so just kind of went with it from there. So.
Wow, that's fantastic. And can you talk to people about like the level of technical skill necessary to develop games? I mean,
Yeah.
do you have to be a genius essentially to do it?
I honestly do believe anybody can get into it. I'm a solo developer. I have a background in animation. So that's where I started in graphic design working for companies. So whenever it came to the coding, any of the tech, that came with it, I had to pretty much learn that from scratch. Um, and it's definitely a challenge some days, especially if it's not in your wheelhouse, but it's doable. I mean, if you just dedicate yourself and there's so many resources out there now. So even if you're not currently going to school for that, there's so much out there that you can still, get yourself rolling and trying to figure out how this works. But it's doable. I mean, I don't think you have to be, a mathematic whiz. Now, there's definitely some limitations on where you can go with it right off the bat, but I mean, the more you do it, the more you practice. It's like anything else, the better your craft is. So.
Okay, and so what do you think about the climate of game development in Sacramento, like versus other cities?
I like that it's kind of up and coming for one. So there's almost this sense that you're not it's not a cluttered environment at the moment, or something along those lines. But again, they're also very supportive, and it's wonderful how they come together, and they're always there. If you have a question, if you need anything, they're very, they're right there with you. And it's a vast array of different creators out there too. So that was one of the things I noticed at that indie arcade, the first one I went to, was just how many different genres there were. I mean, and this doesn't even just go from video games, it was going also from board games and, you just artists themselves, and just seeing how they all collaborated. I think that environment is what really sets, Sacramento apart from a lot of the other scenes. So.
That's exciting. I agree. So in getting you started in an interest in video games and stuff, was there one game in your past that was pivotal that you played that made you like make that decision, like I'm gonna create games or I'm interested in creating games?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I've been playing games since I can remember. Two for sure. One, whenever I was younger, was Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. I love that one. It just it's so much fun. And I just remember I'm like, oh, I want to make that. So that definitely sparked it. I would also say, though, recently, what kind of brought me back around to the idea was actually Breath of the Wild,
Okay.
The Legend of Zelda. Just something about the creativity of that game just sparked it again in me, like, oh man, I got to do this. So.
Okay, yeah, that's fascinating. You know, a lot of the creators that we talk to are inspired by Nintendo things,
Hmm.
and it's which is interesting to, you know, I'm a kind of an Xbox gamer
Yeah.
and stuff, and so it's all about the, you know, the muscle, the brawn, and you know
Yeah.
the wax, what's under the hood, and you know pushing graphics and stuff like that. But Nintendo seems to take kind of a different, have a different emphasis. It's not such an emphasis on muscle graphics and stuff like that, but more creative, original, fun, colorful type of
Oh,
art
for
and
sure.
stuff like that. Well, that's a great segue to bring us into the purpose of our interview today, which is to talk about the game that you are developing or have completed for Capital Creative Showcase. So, can you, well, here's a drum roll,
Yeah.
and can you tell us the name of your game and what it is about?
Yeah. The name of the game is called Mocha Mania, and it is inspired by the 80s arcade classic games, like Donkey Kong, Miss Pac-Man. And you are taking control of our donut heroes, Maple and Glaze, and they have to chill out Cup of Joe, the bad coffee cup, because he's been over caffeinated. And so each stage you're collecting a sugar cube to sweeten him up, a bottle of cream to mellow him out, and a spoon to mix it all together while you're avoiding his flying coffee. So.
That sounds fun, and it almost sounds that like what happens to me when I go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
So,
Very inspired. Yeah.
so or in my mind. So, with that being said, I am going to share the trailer here for Mocha Mania. Wow.
Yeah. Short and sweet. Yeah.
Yes. And but I do, you know, right away see the similarities to kind of the 80s platform game. Definitely a little bit of Donkey Kong in there, and certainly awesome kind of sounds. Can you talk about those sound effects and like what inspired them and where you got them from and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So all of the sound and music I also created. It was just a program that kind of helps you do 8-bit, you know, that old classic arcade sounds. And I listened to pretty much this whole process. I just played Donkey Kong over and over, you know, just kind of hearing and seeing and feeling how the player moved. And a lot of the sounds were inspired a bit by that. The music, especially, I was noticing in those old, not even just Donkey Kong, but Burger Time was another one I was into. The song is it's just a building on itself every level or every stage that you go to, and so that was where, you know, that's where the music started coming from. So every stage it just goes up a little bit higher until the ultimate climax for the last stage. So yeah.
I really like that. One of my old memories is going to the arcades with my parents and stuff like that, and we would just, you could, the whole arcade was filled with these kind of
Mhm.
8-bit sounds and and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it, you know, so for me it's almost like a comfortable ambiance or something like that. I just, that is the soundtrack of my life, maybe
Right. Yeah.
is the way to put it. So that's awesome. Now, the character design in this is also something that's very interesting. So I'm gonna share a screen. You sent me over a little bit of the art there. So here, let's take a look at that. And here, what is this that we're looking at?
Yeah, so the top right corner just shows, the pixel version of Maple, which is the main character of this. And I was trying to match the designs of the artwork that would be on the actual arcade cabinets.
Okay.
So, which they had almost that old, compare like almost that old like 1930s Disney cartoon rubber, animation kind of look to them. So again, I looked at Donkey Kong's. They had a lot of inspiration from there, and Super Burger Time again had a lot of that kind of caricature, and I wanted that design to kind of match what they look like then. So.
Okay, well that seemed to work out pretty good because I kind of want to eat this.
Yeah.
This character here in the top corner. I was told that you actually have a sample of this game running.
Yeah, I do. I can share that now.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
This is our title screen, again, very inspired by old arcade games. There will be a 1 and a 2-player option. Oops. There we go. That you can go between. We'll do the 1-player one just for the demo here. And then the 2-player will operate just like those old arcade games did as well. It's not at the same time, it's a taking turn adventure. So, once somebody dies, the other one will take over. So we'll give that a start. We have our intro title screen. This is Mount Java, where everything is going to be taking place here. And we're pretty much climbing up the volcano as we go. So as you can see, we have Cup of Joe down there, just shooting his crazy coffee. The coffee going up is not going to hurt you, but you need to be careful about what's raining down.
Got it.
And I'll show you that. If it doesn't end too well for you. So.
Oh.
And we are trying to get that sugar cube, which is to sweeten Cup of Joe up.
Okay.
We have to get that cream that's on the second level there, and that is to mellow him out. And we need to get that spoon. Okay. And on the way, you can pick up sprinkles to add up to your points.
Nice.
And this thing right here is our umbrella, which is our power-up. And whenever Entry Maple has that, you're safe, and you can also get some extra bonus points here with your little umbrella. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that on certain spots. So. And we will get on up here. Almost got it. Once we get our spoon, he's stirred up, and then we can go on to the next area. So
this Mocha Mania is your entry into this year's Capital Creative Showcase.
Yes.
Well, do you have any shout outs that you'd like to give to folks at this time?
Yeah. I mean, if you want any information on both Mocha Mania or the Questing Sapone Patu, you can check out my website at zachwinn.com. That's ZACHWINN.com. So I post everything there. I'm also on Twitter at ZachWinnArt. So you can check out, anything I have there. I do, occasional video uploads just showing progress. So if you want any details about what's going on with that as well. And then I will have a release date for Mocha Mania by the end of the year. So keep a close eye out for that. And I think that should be it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a fantastic game here, Mocha Mania, and we're also looking to what happens with the Questings of Pone and Patu. We are here with Zach Winn, and you are watching GPU The Show. I'm your host, Matt Gilliam. Back to you guys.